Right now, as you sit perfectly still, you are moving, not just spinning with the Earth, not just orbiting the Sun. Our entire galaxy, the Milky Way, with all 400 billion of its stars, is being dragged through space towards something we cannot see. At 1.3 million miles per hour, and no one can fully explain what is pulling us. For decades, astronomers assumed the universe was expanding evenly, everything drifting apart smoothly in all directions. The aftermath of the Big Bang, a quiet cosmic exhale. But in the 1970s, something didn't add up. When scientists mapped the motion of nearby galaxies, they found a hidden pattern. We weren't just floating along with the expansion. We were racing toward a single point in the sky, a specific place. Hundreds of galaxies, our own included, all leaning the same direction. As if something enormous was waiting there, in the dark, and calling everything home. They gave it a name that sounds almost too honest: the Great Attractor. The problem is, we can barely look at it. The point we're falling towards sits behind the brightest, densest part of our own Milky Way, a wall of stars, gas, and dust so thick that astronomers call it the zone of avoidance. For most of history, it was simply a blind spot, a curtain we could not see past. And whatever the Great Attractor is, it chose to hide directly behind that curtain. Imagine standing in a dark field, feeling yourself pulled forward by an invisible hand. You strain to see what's ahead, but a blinding light is shining right in your eyes, hiding the thing that holds you. That is our situation, scaled up to the size of the cosmos. So scientists found another way to look. They turned to X-rays and radio waves, wavelengths that can pierce the dust where ordinary light cannot. And slowly, faintly, a shape began to emerge from behind the curtain. What they found was staggering. A massive concentration of galaxies, thousands of them, clustered together in a region now called the Norma cluster, the gravitational weight of an unimaginable number of suns. And at the heart of it, something pulling with the force of tens of thousands of Milky Ways combined. For a while, it seemed the mystery was solved. The Great Attractor was simply a giant cluster of galaxies, and its gravity was reeling us in. But then the numbers refused to cooperate, because the visible mass, all those thousands of galaxies, wasn't enough. It couldn't account for the speed at which we are moving. There was too much pull and not enough matter to explain it. Something was missing. The math demanded more mass than the eye could find, and that is when the story took a darker turn. Astronomers looked even further, past the Great Attractor itself, and discovered something larger still. Far beyond it, some 600 million light-years away, sits one of the most massive structures known in the entire universe, the Shapley supercluster, a staggering collection of galaxy clusters, glowing faintly across an unthinkable distance. And here is the unsettling part. The Great Attractor may not be the destination at all. It may just be a way station, a massive object that is itself being pulled toward the even greater gravity of Shapley. We are falling towards something that is falling towards something else, a chain of gravity reaching across hundreds of millions of light years, and we are caught in its current, unable to stop. Then in 2014 came the discovery that changed everything. Scientists mapped the motion of thousands of galaxies in our region of space, tracing the invisible rivers of their movement. And what they found was not a collection of separate clusters drifting alone. It was something whole, something connected. They discovered that our Milky Way is part of a vast structure, a supercluster so enormous it defies imagination. They named it Laniakea, Hawaiian for immeasurable heaven. It spans 500 million light-years and contains the mass of 100,000 trillion suns. And the Great Attractor sits near its gravitational center, like the bottom of a valley with everything flowing downhill toward it. We are not floating freely through the void. We are a single droplet sliding down an invisible slope toward a point we still cannot clearly see. But the deepest mystery remains unsolved. Because even with Laniakea mapped, even with Shapley discovered, the gravity still doesn't fully balance. Dark matter, the invisible substance that makes up most of the universe's mass, is woven through all of it. We cannot see it. We cannot touch it. We only know it exists because of how it pulls. And it may be the true hand behind the Great Attractor, an unseen scaffold of mass, holding the cosmos in shapes we are only beginning to perceive. There is one more thing that makes this haunting. The expansion of the universe is accelerating. Over billions of years, the space between distant galaxies will stretch so far that they will fade from view forever, which means the Great Attractor, that thing pulling us across the dark, will one day become unreachable. We will keep falling toward it, but never arrive. The current carrying us will outpace our ability to follow. And here is the question that lingers in the silence. We have only known this thing existed for a few decades. For all of human history before that, we never felt the pull. We never knew we were moving. So what else is out there? Beyond the zone of avoidance, beyond Shapley, beyond the edge of everything we can detect. What greater shape are we a part of, sliding down a slope so vast we cannot see its bottom? Something is pulling us through the dark. We just don't know what is waiting at the end.